What are you still mad about? Back in my junior year history class, we were writing an open book quiz. I dropped my pencil and it bounced under the desk of a guy next to me. He noticed and picked it up. My teacher immediately failed both of us for cheating. The quiz was maybe 5% of our grade, and it was 20 years ago, but it still burns my grids. When my son was 3, this big kid pushed him off the top of a bouncy house slide, then jumped on top of him, breaking his arm. I ran over to my son while my friend confronted the kid's dad. When told his son broke my kid's arm, the dad laughed. Stupid parents raise stupid kids. You can't fix stupid _ Can punch it in the mouth though. When I was in 2nd grade, I asked my teacher permission to go to the bathroom. She said yes. When I came back, I got in trouble for leaving the classroom without permission. When I was in kindergarten, my school had a student Olympics where all the kids would participate in physical competitions, like sprinting and jump ropes or other kid-friendly competitions. I was in the lead for the sprinting competition and it was the final lap. I was gonna win. I was so close. But one of my classmates ran behind me and shoved me down, making my knee bleed profusely. I don't care that I was injured, I'm just fudging pissed that dipshit won. He didn't even get in trouble. I'm still pissed about that. Fudge you, Michael. We had a classroom pet lizard in the 3rd grade. I went to the pencil sharpener during class and noticed that it had been frightened and detached its tail. Something we learned about lizards when they brought it into the classroom. I loudly gasped when I saw it and received after-school detention for disrupting the class. I was an 8-year-old that was punished for seeing something scary to me. Still angry. For anyone else who doesn't know what that looks like, http://scary for a child. Bank of America doing their best to fudge up my home loan 10 years ago. Even though it eventually was sorted out, my blood pressure rises every time I think about it. So back when I was in kindergarten, my class has a huge snitch. We were doing arts and crafts and I ended up getting her as a partner. She said my name and when I turned around, the string I was holding ended up hitting her in the arm, a string, and she cried and told the teacher, had to move my clip down, and my parents kept telling me don't hit people. After all that, I still hate her. When I was in the 6th grade, I had trouble with math, and as such, tended to ask a lot of questions in class. Once, when we were reviewing something, I think it was algebra, I raised my hand to ask a question because I didn't understand, and the teacher said, in an annoyed tone and totally serious, "Oh, geez. I guess you can bring a horse to water but you can't make it drink." Embarrassed me to the point where I never asked questions in that class again and ended up just barely passing. I'm 25 now, and it still makes me mad. Fuck you, Mrs. Magnuson. Only being invited to my in-laws' house because they need something technology-related fixed under the guise of food. Being the only 2nd grade class in the history of my school to miss out in the annual apple-picking trip, all because a group of boys had been consistently acting out for a while. The teachers believed the best way to punish them was to pull the field trip from everyone. Of course, the boys didn't learn anything from it, and I was left quite bitter. When I was at university, my sister's school had a fundraising thing where they accepted donations for them to sell off in a car boot sale. My mum gave away my entire book collection without letting me know. This included a book that my granddad gave to me when I turned 15 where he wishes me the best, a couple from teachers after I left their class, and a few that I exchanged with friends when I graduated secondary school. We gave each other a copy of some of our favorite books. I know I'm a nerd. I only found out months later, with no way to track them down, that I made it to the final 2 for a very good marketing job in a hiring process with WWE 6 years ago, only for at the final hour when they made their decision, a former employee got wind of the job and just texted the hiring manager, and both of us were out. That my parents sold my longboard that I bought and kept the money to themselves. I would have learned to use a skateboard if my cocaine-using, chair-throwing, wife-beating, thrift store Dwayne Johnson-looking ass stepdad didn't snap it in half. On my birthday. Whoa. I'm dying to know what a thrift store DTRJ looks like. My best friend in 7th grade texted me while pretending to be her mom. She texted me saying that she had killed herself. And when I saw my friend in person the next week, she laughed when I told her that I had thrown up because I cried so hard. Now I have major trust issues and I still have a grudge on her. I hope you're still not friends with her. Came here to say this. Please say you cut that dumb ass out of your life. Like, 6 years ago I was on vacation and had my oldest cousin pet sit my cats. We were only on vacay for 2 weeks. When we came back, she clearly didn't go in the house. The food and water bowls were completely empty, the litter boxes weren't cleaned, etc. And when I confronted her about it, her response? Oh, I forgot. It's not that big of a deal anyway. I now understand it's not petty in the fudgine slightest. Edit, please stop replying, my inbox is fudging dead. Dash, and yes, the kitties are fine now. Other than the fact one of them has cancer, but I highly doubt it's from this. My mum let my sister play Nintendogs on my DS. She wanted to buy a new dog. The problem was to do that she had to delete another dog, and she deleted Bello, my best dog that I had trained for over a year. My sister was 4 at the time, but I am still mad about it. The same happened to me. My little brother deleted some of my dogs, including the first one I got, which was also my favorite. I was at a skating competition about 4 hours away. I came home and found out my aunt had given my cats away to the SPCA and left before I came home, so I couldn't confront her about it. Fuck you, Aunt K. If she's old enough, you might get a chance to piss on her grave on a foggy autumn morning. I'd prefer to poop atop her gravestone. Nothing to say you can't do both. Add a nice splash of vomit for the unholy trinity. Nah, throwing up is too nasty for the person throwing up. But, if the person with the lost cat is a woman, maybe visiting dear old Aunt Dickie while Aunt Flo is in town might yield some interesting results. A friend from college called me and asked if I wanted to get coffee. I hadn't seen her in years and I really enjoyed hanging out with her back in the day, so I was very excited to hear from her. I happily drove out to a coffee shop a town over where she was in the area, walked in, gave her a hug, met a friend she had with her, got our drinks and settled into a corner. She was pitching me Amway. The friend was someone showing her how to do it. This was 2011. I am still upset about it. A good friend of mine who I hadn't hung out with for a while did that to me on my birthday. We went to a nice restaurant and she hauled out this catalog of stuff I could be selling. I wasn't really mad, but I thought lunch was for my birthday. My dad always harassed me for not liking watermelon. He called me picky. I was one of the most open-minded kid eaters ever. I ate everything put in front of me. My dad would not eat squash. The hypocrisy. Christmas Day when I was 8, I rode my brand new scooter to grandma's to show my uncle and left it in the front yard. I came out with my uncle less than 5 minutes later and someone stole that motherfudger. Edit, I don't remember this, but I was talking to my brother. Apparently he was there too and got his scooter stolen as well.